Hi, this is Jason here at RoofSnap,
And Katrina.
and we are live here for another short how-to video. We are on we're on an iPad Pro today in RoofSnap, and we're going to show you how to measure this roof that I have pulled up here. So, yeah. That's all for the introductions. Let's just jump right into it. We're down here in the corner.
Hi.
And what you're seeing on screen, these little hands represent a finger. So I've got one finger touching on the left and one on the right. And what I've done is I've got the project here and I've tapped on RoofSnap and I've opened up the address that we've selected right here in the image selection screen. And I want to show you, we have a Google image that preloads. And there's some other map options here, but with all this tree coverage, I know I'm going to need to go straight to Near Map.
Absolutely.
So let's tap on Near Map, the logo up here in the upper right-hand corner. And it's going to tell us immediately that we have multiple capture dates from Near Map, from March 5th of 2017 all the way back to June 5th of 2015. And we're going to tap on OK. It's going to tell us the $5 charge to purchase this Near Map for this address. Tap on OK, and then tap on the purchase button down here in the bottom right-hand corner. Now to complete this purchase, we want to make sure that we have zoomed in as far as we can in this view, which we already know that we have. So we'll go ahead and tap on the purchase button, and we've had success. The first image, March 5th, 2017, has loaded. And this is a good image, except for a few shadows here on the back. So we may want to look and see if there's one a little better. Let's try March 23rd of 2016.
You can just scroll through and see which date.
Yep, we can tap down through each one. And that March 23rd of 2016, or maybe this September image, also does look really good. Except there's a little bit of distortion on that one. We can see that that eave isn't as straight as it should be. And that's why it's convenient to have lots of capture dates from Near Map, so we can always find a fantastic image like this one here. So before we snap the roof and lock it in, we want to make sure that it's straight. So you see I can rotate the image left and right. And I want to get right on this gutter line here, then check the other gutter line, check one more gutter line using these vertical and horizontal red lines on the screen. And that ridge, that's also nice and straight. So let's move it back to the middle. And tapping on Snap and Start Drawing here, we won't be able to rotate it after this. So we want to be sure that we're good, but I'm pretty sure that we're good. Snapping and Start Drawing then, we continue, and this loads the image into our drawing or sketching screen, and the image will now be to scale.
Wonderful.
As soon as it loads in, we can immediately zoom in much further, well over 100% maximum zoom, and really begin to see the fullness of this roof. Down here along the bottom are all of our drawing and labeling tools. These two little guys over here are some supplementary imagery. This little one here is Apple Maps, and this one over here is Google Street View. And then these NESW, these are additional supplementary images from Bing. So let's go ahead and take a look at the N. Well, maybe there isn't an N. Let's try the E. Ah, there we go. So the east view, we can see from a sort of a diagonal bird's eye sort of view.
Zoom in, see if there's any details that we need to make note of.
Something here on the front looks like a flat section. There it is. May try to draw that. We'll see. I also see something over here. Let's go to the Apple 3D imagery and see if we can't get a good look at what some of this stuff is as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
So this little icon down here, let's tap on that. And in this view, we can zoom in using two fingers to sort of pinch and pull open. And rotating the two fingers around, we can zoom in and around. And what was that in that corner? Might have been like an AC unit or something. I'm going to zoom in on that. Well, there's something on the ground there, but I can't tell what it is. What do you think, Katrina?
I think you're right. I think it looks like an AC unit.
All right, so we do have that front section there. Let's zoom in on that. Yeah, so that looks like it might have some membrane on it. We probably won't draw that section today since we are focusing on a steep slope application here on this test project.
Sure.
So I've backed all the way back out. Let's start with the drawing tool here. This is the most important feature to learn. And when you have highlighted the draw button here, you can no longer pan and zoom around, the image is locked, but you do get a cursor on the screen when you put your first finger on the screen. And let's also turn on 90 mode. When 90 mode is off, you can free draw any line that you want. But when you turn 90 mode on, and let's turn the tolerance up. Let's go to 15 on that tolerance. And I'll explain what the tolerance is here in a minute. But with 90 mode turned on, when you tap, so let me show you how that works. I put the cursor at the outside corner, and I keep that finger on the screen. And then with my thumb on my other hand, or any other finger really, I just tap the screen and it turns that cursor to green. And that's how I start drawing out the first line. Now when I get to the end of the line, if I pick up my finger, that line disappears. If I want to lock that line into place, I have to tap on the screen. So when I tap, it locks it in, and I can immediately draw the next line. And what 90 mode is doing is 90 mode is snapping right to vertical and horizontal. So if I'm close to straight up and down with that line, it is going to be perfectly straight up and down.
Nice.
If I'm closer to horizontal, it's going to snap right to horizontal.
Great.
So let's come down, and I'm going to go just, you know what, actually, let's not do that line. Let's do the upper section of the roof first. That way we can properly sketch our overhangs. So as if we were starting over with the upper section here, let's put our cursor right on the outside corner, and let's draw straight down the eave. When I get to the bottom and see that I'm nice and lined up with the center of the gutter, I'll tap on the screen again, and then 90 degrees straight out to the right. When I get to the end of that line and I see that I'm in the center of the gutter on the right side of the roof, I'll tap again, and then I'll come up. Oh, but this time, look, it's snapping right to that spot because it's recognizing that it's right in line with the top of this line on the left side.
Wonderful.
So I don't have to worry about getting it perfect. It's going to find it for me. And then when I tap and bring it over, it's going to snap right to that point. And that large red circle, that lets me know that I've connected.
Perfect.
So now that I've drawn in all four with perfect 90 degrees on each corner, if I tap on facets here just for a moment, it's going to show me the highlighted large facet. But I still need to slice and dice it up with hips and ridges.
Yep.
So let's do that. Back to draw. Put my cursor here, it turns big, and when it turns big, I tap the screen. And I can bring my cursor diagonally down. Tap on the screen again, and I can come perfectly horizontally over that little short ridge. Tap on it again, and bring my line up, and close in that facet. Tap that screen to lock in that line. Basically, every line takes 2 taps, one to start and one to stop. So here, put the cursor on this point right there, tap on the screen, starts the line. Bring it down to this point, tap on the screen again, locks in that line.
Great.
And let's do the last one. So, big red circle, tap on the screen to start the line. Big red circle again, tap on the screen to lock in the line. Now, when I go to facets, we have all of the roof sections sliced and diced.
Wonderful.
Now, going back to where I left off, and you'll see why, I'm going to draw in the overhang, but right now my tolerance is set so high that it's going to want to snap to things more quickly than I want it to. So let's go to settings here and turn that tolerance down to 5. This is going to allow me to still draw using 90 mode, but without it snapping so quickly. There we go. I think I bumped 90 mode. So it's going to want to rest on that line because it is recognizing it, but I want to go past. So right now, my measurement, see this measurement here?
Mm-hmm.
When I come to that line, it says 10.1. So let's go to 11.1 and make it 1 foot past. And do I want to go all the way to here? I don't think so. I don't think I want to go quite that far. It says 11.1. Well, let's come back to 10.1 and create it there. Let's move the drawing over a little bit. And let's come back up to our starting point here. And I'm going to draw the hip in right to the ridge. And then I'm going to tap on the screen and come across the ridge and come past. So 24.5, I want to come over a foot. There we go, 25.4, almost a foot. And connect that little line there. Then we'll come down. And I'm stopping here because I don't want to forget about this hip. See the hip that comes out to the left?
Yeah.
So I'm going to tap on the screen there and draw out the hip. Right to there. Come up the eave, and then come over the other eave here on this inside corner, come up that eave, and then go back in and add in the hip and add in this valley, which I'm hoping runs all the way up to right there. There we go. Few more lines to draw and we'll have this roof completed. So let's come across this eave edge here, but keep coming to create that overhang, and come all the way up and tap to finish that last line right there. Now if I've done everything correctly, we should have all of these facets in blue when we go to facets, and we do. And not only do we have all of these facets in blue, but any area where there was an overhang and we tap on facets, we'll see that it's double shading for those areas.
Perfect.
All right. Now, if we're going to use RoofSnap for estimating, not only do we need to label these lines, but we need to include the sublabels for any of those special materials that we're going to be adding.
Okay.
So let's start with eaves. We tap on eaves once, that highlights the eave line label. But if we tap on eaves a second time, now we can add ice and water shield. Eave edge, a designation for drip edge or gutter apron. We could even add gutters and gutter toppers, but for right now, we'll just use those two. And go ahead and tap on all of the eave lines of the entire drawing. If this little menu window, we call it the drawer, if it gets in my way, I can tap on the drawer and slide it over. I accidentally tapped on that hip, but don't worry, I'll come back and change it. And I think that's all the eaves. So let's open the drawer back up, hit the back button, and go ahead and grab rake. Tap on rake a second time, and we can get rake edge metal. You can put ice and water shield on it too if you want it, but not a lot of people do. And get rake edge on the one rake. That's the only one I see. Open up the drawer again and go back, and let's grab the ridge. And if you want, you can tap on ridge a second time and grab some ridge vent. So we'll do that. Put ridge vent on the two primary ridges. And now we need to go and get the hips. There are no sublabels for hips, so you don't have to worry about that. But here, because hips are helping calculate the the hip and ridge cap material, we want to make sure we account for all the ridges. And then in the valley, when we tap on valley a second time, we can add the ice and water shield. Now, the only lines we have left are roof to wall transitions.
Gotcha.
A couple of them are sloped and a couple of them are level. The sloped ones are your step walls. So when we tap on step a second time, we can add step flashing and ice and water shield. So let's get it there and there. And the other two are horizontal lines. So we'll go ahead and get wall. Double tap on that and get ice and water shield and apron flashing. Tap on both of those. So now our roof is drawn, our lines are labeled, our accessory labels are in. But we don't have any pitch yet.
How can we get that?
Well, we have a tool for that.
Great.
So if you're on site, nothing is going to be better than your pitch tool, your pitch level that you may carry with you. Set a ladder, check for layers, climb up, get your head up above the roof, put your pitch level on it. That's the best way. But if you come in here to the Apple 3D view, this button down here in the bottom right-hand corner, if you're not on site, and you open this guy up, there is a function in here that will allow you to get pitch. So I'm moving around the roof looking for the best view, and I'm going to take two fingers, and as I slide two fingers together down, it takes me to straight overhead view.
Interesting.
As I slide two fingers together up, it takes me to a lower bird's eye view. So what I want to do is I want to measure the slope. So pay attention to where my red crosshairs are. I want to measure the pitch from where these two hips meet this ridge down this slope towards the gutter line. And I can do that in this view. So in order to make that happen, what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up the horizontal line with my ridge. And I'm going to put the vertical line where it intersects with the horizontal line close to the bottom of that slope. But it doesn't have to be all the way at the bottom, just more than 3/4 of the way down that slope.
Okay.
And then without moving the image, I'm going to pitch the roof down.
So take 2 fingers
Yep.
and kind of slide them up and down on the screen.
2 fingers, and I slid them down and caused the roof to pitch, caused the image to pitch down.
Gotcha.
Now I'm going to hit this plus button in the upper left-hand corner and zoom way in. And when I'm zoomed in, I can move the image around, and I can even zoom in a little bit more with the pinching and zooming method. Now, this new icon that's appeared in the upper left-hand corner that looks a bit like a protractor, this opens up our pitch card. This used to be just for gables, and that's why they're shaped like gables.
Sure.
But what we've done is we've created a reference. And I'm going to use my finger here and touch right where the hips meet the ridge. We know the angle. Well, not the angle yet, but we know that there's a straight line from where the hips meet the ridge all the way down to where the red lines intersect. So the goal is to use one side of the pitch card and find the right pitch value that connects where the hips meet the ridge and where the 2 red lines come together. And it looks like it's going to be 612.
Yeah.
So we know that the pitch on that slope is a 612.
Great.
I'm going to come all the way back out. Now we have another way to tell if this is a standard hipped roof or if this is an irregular hipped roof.
Okay.
I'm going to go into the edges mode, and I'm going to press and hold on one of these hips. Well, it may be turned off, so we're not going to be able to show that function.
Gotcha.
No worries.
Darn. It's all right.
All right, so we've got 612, and the lower sloped areas, or excuse me, the first story areas over here may not be the same pitch as the upper roof.
Okay.
So we're going to open up Apple Flyover one more time, and we're going to measure this slope right here, doing the exact same thing. Leveling out the ridge with the horizontal line. Dragging our 2 fingers together upwards brings it down. It's about as low as I think I'm going to be able to go because there's a little tree there. Magnifying button, pitch tool button. And from here, the 6 is almost dead on. The 5, too high. The 7, too low. So again, 612 on that one too. And let's double check one more while we're in here. So let's see, let's rotate the roof around this way. Now, when we do the slope that comes off the side of the hip, we don't have a ridge to line up with, but we do have the top of the hips that we can line up with. So you see how I've done that there? I've put my horizontal line right at the top of the hips.
Yeah.
And I've put my vertical line very close to the gutter edge.
Gotcha.
Slide 2 fingers together in an upwards direction. That pin is going to be right in my way, isn't it? All right. I can still see the crosshairs.
Yeah.
Open up the pitch tool. Bring it over here, and I'm expecting it to be a 6. Yeah, I think the 5 is just a little too low. The 6 is about the closest one. So again, we're going to call it a 6. All right, so I think we have enough confirmation that we are 612 on all slopes.
Yep.
So I'm going to go to facets. They're still all labeled as 0 by default. So let's go to pitch. Come down to 612. And in this case, since they're all 612, we can tap on apply to all and make them all 612.
Wonderful.
All right, so I think the last thing that we want to do here real quick is just drop a few pins on the roof.
Okay.
Pins can be used for estimating. Pins can also be used just for inspecting. So for example, these inspection pins here, if we've got hail damage, we can put a pin on the roof, but more importantly, we can press and hold on that pin and get this little menu window here. So let's take a photo. Do we have anything in our conference room? We've got a roofing magazine. Let's try that. All in a day's work. Use that photo and then press and hold, and we're going to add a note to it as well. There we go. And then some plumbing boots. Let's tap on that category. When you add these items as pins to the roof, two things happen. One, you can use them to inspect. So I'm going to drop a couple plumbing boots down. But just like the hail pin, you can take photos and add notes for each of these items. If it's a chimney, if it's a skylight, whatever pin you might be placing on the roof, to label it. It's going to add it to the estimate automatically, but it's also going to allow you to add a photo and a note. Great. So that you can have an inspection of these details on the roof.
Kind of creating a site map of where they appear on the roof as well in the
that
reporting.
Too. Yeah. Absolutely. Chimney flashing kits. Looks like we've got one chimney there, so I'm going to put that label down. And then two vents up at the top near the ridge. And I'm not sure which kind of vents they are, but I do have some off-ridge vents in here. I think they're power vents. So we'll go ahead and just drop two power vents. I could be wrong, but when you're on site, that's when you're going to be inspecting the roof and deciding what all these accessories are. And then lastly, once we have the pins in place, we'll go ahead and hit the done button. This saves all the drawings and all the measurements. Now we want to come down here to measurements and show you that the 10% waste as default can be modified. So you can go in and you can change it to 15 or whatever you see fit. And then in specifications, we have plenty of other videos on building out the full estimate here. But I just want to draw your attention to the pins that we added, the power vents, the flashing kit, the plumbing boots. They're already loaded into sort of the quote.
Yeah.
And once you add your shingle and your other tear-off items and disposal items, then you'll have you have an estimate ready to go.
Wonderful.
Last but not least, let's create one quick document, the measurement report, because that's really what we did primarily, was measure the roof.
Sure.
And let's see what we came up with. So we'll go and tap on Generate New under Sketch Report.
Here we go. Click on that PDF to open up the link here.
Yep. And this document now will have your custom logo and your customer's information along with your salesman's information, the primary image that you used of the roof, all of your directional images, the pitch breakdown, and all of your measurement details and all of your labels as well, as well as the categories for each of those. So at 15%, we have 37.03 squares, and time after time when we've done real hand measurements of roofs that have also been measured using RoofSnap, we're typically right around within 0.5% to 1% of a hand measured roof. So it doesn't get any more accurate. Using 90 mode, using RoofSnap with a near map image, it's just about the best, most accurate measurements that you can get on any project.
Absolutely. Hey, can we scroll down real quick and just see what that inspection stuff as well?
Absolutely. So the next page was areas, breakdown by area. And then the accessories. So we see that we have all of the accessory pins here that we placed on the roof. And then the notes and photos that we attached to that hail pin is here as well.
Wonderful.
Yep. These documents, of course, can be shared and emailed by tapping on that little button in the upper right-hand corner. Save it to Dropbox, open it in Google Drive, or any of the other apps that you have for PDFs.
Wonderful.
Well, that pretty much does it for today. We invite you to check out a bunch of our FAQ videos. If you're using RoofSnap on Android, it's a little bit different, so check out our Android FAQ videos. Our standard FAQ videos are mostly on iOS and also have lots of account setup questions and answers and so forth. So please check out other videos on our YouTube channel or give us a call if you have any questions or if you'd like to sign up for one of our 14-day free trials.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for joining us.
Take care.
Bye, guys.